All right, what's going on, YouTube? Here this morning with my boy Boston. Kind of a cool story, man. He's still got his first car that he had in high school. He's put a lot of time and a lot of money in it. He had it in a shop for, I think it was a little over a year, wasn't it?
About a year and 3 months.
Year and 3 months it was in there. The guy charged him about $9 grand to do basically a trunk, a stereo install.
Couple door panels.
Door panels, you know, he didn't do the seats. He did the carpet and all the wiring in the car. Headliner, and install a bunch of screens in it. So we're gonna go look at and show you what a $9,000 stereo install will get you. So we'll be right here. Come check us out. All right. So while I was in the shop, he also wanted him to do some floor pans because the floor pans are rotted out in this car. We're gonna check it out and see how he did with it, what he did. You see here is right here, a piece of angle iron with a piece of sheet metal in here. You notice it's not painted, and on any of the seams, there's no seam sealer on any of it through here. So I mean, that's gonna, if you drive this thing into wet, good chance the water will get up inside, get inside your car, start messing with your wood. And I mean, so yeah, that's not cool. He kind of shortcutted on that for sure. And we're going to move on now. We're gonna go look at the trunk and let y'all check this out. All right, there's the trunk. Got his lid on it. It works, it lights up. Got his kickers in the back. I mean, honestly, the trunk in this car, it looks really nice. All these panels on the side here, they light up real good. This underneath here is where the guy's shop name was. Boston took it off because he wasn't happy with the work and thought some other things about him, and we'll get into that here and kind of explain it to him. The reason the car's here is if you look on these kickers, we got this going on right here. He said he was at a show playing it, and the speaker started making a bunch of racket, and he blew it. Basically, he blew his kicker, and you know, say what you want to about these soda barracks, they're pretty tough. So we're gonna go try and dive in to see why the speaker did what it did. And I haven't touched anything. I've took the car apart where we can see what's going on, but we're gonna get in here now and take a look behind the seat, see what we got. All right, so we're inside the car now. Look, he's got his headrest put in his, put in the headrest. He got the monitors put in the headrest. He's got it up, got the big monitor upstairs here in the headliner. Headliner really does look pretty nice in this whole car. You know, it's got, he put a, we had questions about these. Boston thinks these are his for both of them. I'm not sure, you know, I didn't get involved with this thing till it was already kind of in the process of being built. But this is really what I wanted to show you. And remember, this was a $9,000 build in this car. So basically, this wiring here is what we've got. This goes to a monitor. Speaker wires have been spliced together here for some reason, I'm not sure. I don't even know where all this goes. I think that's probably to a bass knob right here. But the real kicker here is these amplifiers are just sitting here. They're not even bolted down. There was no attempt made at even trying to build a panel or a rack just to keep these things from moving and sliding around. And his sub amp, it's a Hyphonics Brutus 2550. He got charged quite a bit of money for this amp, and I'm not certain, but I think it may be the older model as when the car was put together. But if you get in here, what I did notice, the bass boost is way up on this thing. The gain setting is probably okay. We're probably going to turn it down a little bit to try to keep from torching more speakers, but I'm definitely going to be taking the subsonic filter, and I'm going to be adjusting those down. All right, I don't have the time, and I mean, it's kind of, oh, here's another good one here. If you look, here's the grounds for your amplifiers right here. You know, they could have at least tied the damn things together. He's got 1 gauge going into the amps here into a distribution block, and then a 4 gauge coming back out. That's probably okay. But this ground here, man, that's not cool. That you know, these things need to be tied together and down to the chassis, or even better, run all the way back under the hood to the battery up there. I mean, this thing should have, he's got a Hyphonics, I'm not sure what amp this is as far as power wise. It's probably a 1,000 watt amp. And so basically he's got, you know, 25, 35. He's got probably somewhere legitimately around 3,500 watts in here. He really needs a second battery. I'm pretty sure that was never mentioned to him. But the job looks good, you know, on the outside. It's, you know, whenever you get behind it and start pulling the thing apart, that, you know, you start finding these little things. And I mean, I guess that's any shop, man. So guys, all I'm saying is just do your homework on this stuff. As much money as was spent on this, as long as it was in the shop, this should really be a lot cleaner inside here. It sounds good inside. You know, he's got bi-nines in the back. He's got 2 6.5 coaxials in the doors, or 4 of them in both doors, 2 of them in both doors. And he's got a Pioneer head unit with a flip out screen. You know, it's a decent head unit. And the biggest kicker with all this though is when this thing was in the shop, he told the guy he wanted a high output alternator. And I mean, with all these screens, and you know what, come to think of it, somewhere in here I think there's supposed to be a video amplifier, because I mean, he's running 1 2 3 4 5 6, he's running 7 screens, and I don't see a video signal amplifier in here anywhere. I'm not sure.
Maybe under the carpet.
You say under the seat, maybe?
Maybe up here, I think.
There's. Okay, so there may be a video amplifier in here, and I mean, if there's not, he really needs one. But back to the alternator. So I'm gonna jump out, go ahead and cut it off. He wanted a output alternator. He was on the receipts that I saw, it was charged $500 for a high output alternator. That puts you into the MechMan, you know, 300 amp, 270 amp at least alternator, you know, put out a lot of power, 14 volts, should be pretty steady. When he got the car, we've got legitimately, this is a remanufactured, it's not even new, it's a remanufactured alternator that legitimately cost about $58 to buy. And that, you know, that's not cool, man. I mean, the guy charged this kid money, and he just, I mean, he broke it off on his ass that time. You know, $500 for a $50 alternator, that's a hell of a parts markup as far as I'm concerned. It was also supposedly, I believe, to rewire the entire car. When someone says you want to rewire the entire car, I don't think they're talking about just a stereo. I mean, you want to rewire the entire car, I'm talking headlights. If you look at this stuff here, I mean, this is a 1972, it's a classic car. These wires are breaking down at this point. They're old, they need to be replaced. I mean, especially if it's a driver, you don't want any problems, you got to take care of your electrical just like you take care of changing the oil in the motor. And I don't see any new wires other than, here's a 1/0 that's zip tied to a heater hose. That's probably not the best place to run that, you know, next to that heat right there. I mean, heat is what kills electrical, so you're heating your wire up here, you're slowing the current flow down. And he does have a yellow top Optima, but I believe there was problems with his battery too, wasn't there?
Tried to put a stock battery back in my car.
So you drove it in there, it already had an Optima in it.
Yeah.
And when you got there to check on it towards the end of it, it had just a regular battery in there. So, you know, once again, the guy, it's just shady, man. This whole thing is just shady. And, you know, there's a lot of shops out here. I know $9,000, and look, this right here, can you see this? Here's a battery hold down,
right here where they crashed my car too.
Oh, and there's also a dent put in it here in the shop. But, you know, here's the thing with this, guys. When you leave a car in the shop for a year, there's going to be problems with it. You know, I'm not saying, I don't know what the whole financial end of it was as far as the payments or anything like that. If it was on I'm sure the shop took far too long on this, because I know Boston was ready to pay and had the money for quite some time. Anytime you leave a car in the shop that long, stuff's going to happen to it. You know, it's just stuff moving around, things are happening. The gas gauge also in the car, it doesn't work. It was one of the problems that was brought in. The tail lights didn't work, or they work now, right?
Yeah, they're rigged.
They're rigged up. I remember when he picked the car up, man, he was so happy, but he couldn't drive the damn thing at night because the tail lights didn't work. So, and you know, when somebody says, hey, I need you to rewire my car and I'm gonna give you a shit ton of money, tail lights are kind of part of that, you know, probably new switches, tail lights, relays, you know, I mean, that's, yeah. So just beware, and whenever you're dropping your car off at a shop, man, if they don't want you there, if you can't call them and they answer the phone or at least call you back, if they try to avoid you, if they run you around, get your shit and pull it out of there, man, because there's far too many shops, especially here in Houston. In the Houston area, there's far too many shops that will do you right and that will take care of you with great customer service. This guy here is not one of them, and I don't want to put his name out there. I don't want to get into all that. You know, it doesn't matter. But you as a consumer, you have to be on their ass, because I mean, if you're giving the shop leeway and letting them take their time and dilly-dally around, you know, the odds kind of get in their favor on stuff. So we're going to change these L7s out. He went out brand new, bought some brand new ones yesterday. We're going to put those in. I'm going to tune on the system a little bit and take some of the bass boost out. It's probably not going to hit as good, and I told him that, but he's not going to have to go out next week and buy $500 worth of speakers. So we're going to work on all that and get that going. So, you know, this video, man, it was just kind of, I want this thing out there to let y'all know you got to do your homework on the shops, and you've got to, just because they got good reviews or whatever, doesn't mean they're actually going to be and do you a good job. So you just got to keep on their ass, man. So that's all I got. I'm going to get this video up here in a little bit, and peace. We'll see y'all later.